Oh, we don't know our colors anymore. Team Shift, can I hear you? Only two Team Shift in the house. Team Politics, can I hear you? Okay, it's getting better. Team Platforms, can I hear you? Black, say platform is bigger than everybody. Team Shift, where are you? Please get your people to come in. Let's kickstart the conversation. And I like the way it's going. And I just want to ask you, so far so good, what is that one thing that has stood out for you in the many conversations that have you doing today?
Doing good. Okay, my name is Engineer Tariq Abdul Aziz. So for me, one thing I would say that has stood out for me is the caliber of people that were brought to, share their experiences. Because they're not just speaking about theoretical things, that people that have done it practical and are coming out to tell us that we too can do it based on the areas we love or things that actually affect us. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Please help me celebrate him. I've spoken with a doctor, an engineer. Let me see, which career am I going to land on next? Hi, lady. Hello. It's me. Look at me. I can see you. Good afternoon. What is that one thing that stood out for you so far in all of the conversations?
I have a whole note. Where do I even start?
Your name, what you do, and...
Okay, my name is Erima.
Can we hear her?
Yes. My name is Erima. I'm from Accountability Lab Nigeria. So one thing that stood out for me, because, okay, I didn't start the program with everybody else, but I really enjoyed the panel session. And one thing that really stood out for me was when one of the speakers were talking about addressing the question that was asked about how do you take power, because the people there wouldn't just give it to you on a platter. Leadership isn't given a la carte. It stood out for me. So we just have to work with them and talk it out.
Thank you very much. Leadership is not given a la carte. Who said that in this room? Anybody remember the name of the panelist who said that? I have a prize for you. Okay, somebody's waving. Don't catch me if I don't give you pressure.
Mr. Hassan said that.
Hassan Nuruddin. A round of applause for you, please. What's your name?
Daniel.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, let's celebrate Daniel. Please, let's celebrate them. They just shared their thoughts with us so far, and I do hope that you're writing things down. One of the things that I found interesting, the people that I went to see, particularly the engineer and the lady, they were actually writing. They had a notepad and a pen. So please, that is the attitude of someone who really wants to own the shift. During the first tea conversation, Mr. Sampson said, sometimes there's a knowledge gap. Sometimes we find access to rooms where we want to speak, but you find out that the volume of knowledge that you have is not sufficient to banter with the people there. So it's about time to put in effort to ensure that you're getting the right information. So right about now, we will go to the pop-up performance 3. And to do that, spoken word, please, ladies and gentlemen, help me make welcome a young African. His name, it will be called Day 3. Please celebrate Day 3 as he comes up the stage. We can do better than that. I believe the small chops has finished. Please help me to engage your hands.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. All right, so I'm going to do a piece that is titled Not Too Young. Kill it first. Listen. How many of you have an idea how old Yakubu Gowon was when he was head of state? Anybody here? Can you just say it out? How old? If you are 31 years old here, let me see your hands up. Hands up. All right, listen. It's 2025. Don't go playing 10-10. If you are in your 20s, you shouldn't be sleeping from 10 to 10. You are not too young to run, but you are too young to yawn. All those unharvested corn, who is going to attend to them? Every man is at the level of all that he knows. Scratch that. Do you smell me? Do you feel me, bros? A wise man said, wise people understand by books, but this has got nothing to do with looks. How many of you knew what Albert Einstein looked like? Oops, guys, very few of you. I heard you read just 2 books last year, not very good of you. And I heard some of you doing fine, and others doing fine from their point of view. My point is, do yourself an interview. What did you do with what you wrote from their conference last year at Buro? Did you go back then you hid your diary and your bureau? Do you know that a kilo measured to you is the one that is going to be measured back to you? On this side, on the use of knowledge is the abuse. That's why you will never see me litter the streets. I am Nigerian. I prefer Ewedu to Mr. Biggs. I hear you screaming Man U. I hear you screaming Chelsea. But I love to see Enyimba on the pitch. Because no man can write Africa a plan and expect us all to rely on it. Greatness hidden in the genes. Isn't that the reason they call Nigerians the lion? The way you lay your bed, my homie, is the way you're going to lie on it. If Nigeria is squeezed, I'm telling you, you are the people that should eye on it. Listen. The people that said it cannot be done should let those who can do it and fail. You know why? Some people, they see opposition, while some people, they see opportunity. Some people, they mistake some people's zeal and passion for gra-gra because they wait for gratuity. You're not supposed to wait when they start calling you ma before you start to show maturity. There is a reason why the people who get responsibility are the people who respond. Let's go. Listen, you are not too young to run. You're not too young for. From the top, please. You're not too young to run. Listen. You're not too young for Ibat. You are too young to yawn. Listen, you are not too young to stand and insist. It may hurt you, but it's worth the risk. Listen, you're not too young to run. You're not too young to run. Listen, you're not too young to turn. Listen, Emeka is not too young to build Nigeria's Silicon Valley. And he's not too young to have 4 streams of income. He's not too young to start. He's not too young to move fast. Because when he old, everything go cast. You are not too young to not do jokes for exam. You are not too young to take on those big roles. You are not too young to stop today. Talk cha 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 cha. Don't you know that great men do not crack silly jokes on X? She's not too young to read Mount Smuro. And she's not too young to quit Telemundo. She's not too young to run. She's not too young to run. She's not too young to turn. Ha! You are not too young to buy land for house. You are not too young to start to think of your spouse. I know you want to be great, but if you are quite too young to date, then it's better that you wait. Why? Because you're not too young to run. Listen up, you're not too young to run. Hey, you're not too young for Ibat. You are too young to yawn. Listen up, you're not too young to stand up and insist. It may hurt you, but it's worth the risk. But I'm telling you, you're not too young to run. You're not too young to run. You're not too young to turn. Listen to this part. How old was Nelson Mandela when he started? How old was Kwame Nkrumah when he started? How old was Tunde Onakoya? How old was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala? How old are you now? That's my question. How old was Nelson Mandela when he started? How old was Kwame Nkrumah when he started? How old was Onakoya? How old was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala? How old are you now? Look at your neighbor and say, how old are you now? I can't hear you guys. How old are you now? Come on. How old are you now? Kill the beat. So that's all you're going to say after me. Let's go. Let's go. How old are you now? Come on. Are you ashamed of your age? How old are you now? If you're ashamed of asking somebody, you should be doing something better with your life. Thank you very much.
Maybe you should come back and answer that question. How old are you two?
You know, I want to explain myself, but I like to think that the fact that I had the opportunity to talk here, it means that I'm doing something with my life, so that's fine.
And that counts for something. Let's celebrate day 3, please. Thank you very much. With that spirit, energized, encouraged, we'll move on to the pop-up session 3, governance, making the system work for the vulnerable. Stories from a frontliner. This is going to be an instrumental one, and I would like that you pay keen attention. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Funke Adioye of Hope Behind Bars. That should give you a sense of how the conversation will drive. Please, let's make welcome Funke. Okay, she needs a podium. All right. Please don't stop clapping until she gets here. Making the system work for the vulnerable. Stories from a frontliner.
Everyone. Good afternoon. If you're young in the house, good afternoon. The last performer said, how old are you now? And I think I was forced to just think to myself, how old am I now? How old was I when I started? I'm delighted to be here today as we have a conversation around owning the shift. And when I look at the room, I see so much energy in the room. I see so much power in the room. And we have never been at a point in our life as young people or as Africans, where we have so much power and so much pressure. And I would explain why. We are the most deeply connected generation. We are the most creative generation, yet we are the most questioned generation. I think even from the last panel session, I could see the whole jabs at Gen Zs. And I think it's important that we look at the conversation around owning the shifts from a crisis that I think we have on our hand. The median age of an average African is 19. But when you look at the average age of an African leader, it's between 62 and 63. And so it's important that when we have conversations like this, we not only take in the energy, but we do something with the energy. Today I've been asked to speak on the topic, making the system work, lessons from a frontliner. And as I brood through that topic, I asked myself, what is a system? Oftentimes when we talk about systems, we look at system as though it's faceless, as though it's made up of abstract things. We forget that systems are products of humans. Systems are products of policies, prejudices that people have developed because of how they want to see something. And as I work in the justice system, I am confronted with some of the realities of what it is that a broken system feels like. I'm going to say a little bit about my work. I run Hope Behind Bars Africa, and I regard myself as a human rights lawyer and a social entrepreneur. And the question is, why did I decide to do this work? On the face of it, when you hear the name Hope Behind Bars Africa, the first thing that comes to mind is you're working for prisoners, you're doing some work for prisoners. But why did I decide to do this work? What was it that was broken in the system that I saw that made me think this is something that I can fix? I will come to that story, but I want to quickly share something that happened yesterday that reminds me of how much power we have as young people, how much power taking the energy we have as young people and the pressure that is upon us is and what we can do with it. Yesterday, I was in a room with the #1 correctional officer in the country, the Controller General of the Nigerian Correctional Service. And it was a room that was filled with different members of the criminal justice system. We had the Nigerian Bar Association, we had the Legal Aid Council, we had the Ministry of Justice, and we had only 3 CSOs present. And when I looked across the room, it was obvious that I was the youngest in the room. I'm never shy to talk about my age. I'm 33. I started my organization at 26. But as I looked at, the room, I realized that there's only one reason why I am in this room, why I am hearing the kind of things I heard yesterday, and why I could contribute to the kind of things I heard yesterday. And that's because I turned my pain into power. Several years ago, and this is a story that I've said so much, I'm almost tired of talking about it. Several years ago, my dad found himself behind bars for a crime he did not commit. I was about 9 or thereabouts, 8 or 9. It was the most traumatic period for my family because my dad was the breadwinner. And, I had to stay out of school for a whole year until he got out. He lost his job. And it took us a while to get out of that dilemma. I told myself I was going to study law and fight for human rights because of the experience that I had. But that wasn't what made the difference. What made the difference for me was my first time in a prison in Nigeria. I was 21 years old. I was at law school at the time, and we had gone for a prison visit. And I remember, first of all, when I got into that facility, the stench that came at me was so much, it was so terrible that I was wondering what's going on here. And then when you look at the prison, this is a facility that was created for at the time, I think about 300 inmates, and at the time, they had over 800 persons. And so you can imagine the health challenges. You can imagine the public health crisis. You can imagine all the things that would be going on there. And so my duty that day, or my obligation that day, was to go interview the inmates alongside my classmates. Interview inmates and see which of them, required lawyers, which of them had no lawyers. And I remember interviewing this young man, and he was telling me this story around how he was coming back from the club, and he was picked up by the police. This was 2013. He was picked up by the police alongside some of his friends, and 5 months later, he's in Suleja being framed for armed robbery. I don't know if that story was true. I don't know the facts of the case, because, all I needed to do was to take in the case that day and take my notes and then submit to the lawyers that we were working with. But I remember that I shed a tear. I remember I shed a tear because one of my classmates looked at me and was like, "Are you okay? Like, why? You're going to be a lawyer very soon. You need to, man up." And I looked around me, I looked around at my colleagues. They were all taking notes, but it seemed normal. On our way back to the law school in Buari, everybody was chattering about, the prison. It was just casual, but I remember being mute because I couldn't get my head off what I had witnessed. It's easy for you to watch such things in a movie. It's easy for you to hear about such things, but it's different when you are confronted with it. I was 21 at the time. After my law school, I moved back to Lagos, where I used to reside. 5 years later, at 26, I moved to Abuja. And that thing that I saw, the fact that I couldn't get my mind away from what I had saw and what I had heard, and the fact that I also felt extremely helpless, because, all I needed to do at the time was write and submit to a lawyer. I don't know if the lawyer ever took up the case. I came back in 2017, and I wrote a letter to the same Controller General of Corrections, and I said, this time around, I'm a lawyer. I want to begin to provide pro bono legal services to awaiting trial inmates, people who are poor and don't have access to legal representation. This was 2017. To be honest, when I think about it now, I don't know if I would have taken that step if I knew how much work needed to be done to change the system. But at the time, I felt that I had something in my hands. What I had in my hands was my degree as a lawyer. I didn't have money. Oh, by the way, I did not have a job. I used to work in Lagos. I resigned my job and came to Abuja. And earlier on, there were conversations around volunteering. I did my best to try to volunteer in different organizations. It didn't work out. But I said to myself, you're a lawyer, you can begin to do this thing. 2017, I started providing pro bono legal services to indigent awaiting trial inmates. 2018, I registered Hope Behind Bars Africa. I had no knowledge of what it means like to run a non-profit organization. For me, it was a case of I kept begging for a table, and I wasn't given a space at the table, so I needed to build my own table. That was 2018. Fast forward to today, 2025, you can Google this. My organization has moved from providing free legal services to over 12,000, 13,000 indigent awaiting trial inmates to working. Please clap. If you want to clap, clap very well, because it's not easy. It's not easy. We have moved from, providing free legal services to coming to understand what it means to create system change, coming to work with the few resources that we have to actually be the change that we want to see. As I speak to you, not only are we providing these services, we are also redefining corrections. That's why I was with the Controller General yesterday. We are working with inmates. A lot of us talk about the fact that our prisons are places that people go to and they come out and they continue in crime. No, we cannot continue to talk about the problems. We're redefining what it means to be in corrections. We're actually trying to make Nigeria safer for everybody. And so as I speak to you, We have a website where you can easily go and buy products that are made by the inmates that we work with. We have a project called the Farming Justice Project, which is going to actually redefine food insecurity in corrections and outside corrections. We have over 82,000 prisoners across the country. A lot of them wake up, eat your money, eat taxpayers' money actually, and then go back to sleep. When in other parts of the world, they are actually put to work. And we said, no, somebody has to do something about this. And as I speak to you, our projects across different parts of the country are generating income for the inmate, generating income for us, generating income for the government. I'm not here to blow my horn at all. I'm just here to talk about the reality of what happens when we reimagine problems. The reality of what happens when we reimagine the challenges that we have as a country. The reality of what happens when we reimagine systems. I don't know what system it is that you're concerned about. I mean, every one of us must not be CSO leaders or NGO leaders. In fact, I always tell people that the easiest way to change things in this country is through the private sector. In fact, it's taking us as an organization to begin to look at our work from the lens of the private sector for us to actually see the change that we want to see. But I'm going to urge us today, as we think about what it means to own the shift, to first of all, see purpose in problems. You know, when we talk about, it's so easy for us to talk about Sena climbs. It's so easy for us to talk about going to places where the system works, because we think about system from an abstract lens. But guess who the system is? The system is you and I sitting in this room. The system is made up of human beings who, again, decide to design a system for what they want to see. And the good thing about system is that if it is designed by somebody, it can be redesigned by somebody. It can be redesigned by somebody who has the good deeds or the good desires of a working system in their mind. So I'm going to leave you guys with three things that has been critical to my work. Three things that I think is also critical to whatever it is that you want to see, whatever change it is that you want to see. The first will be to find purpose in problems. To see the challenges that we have as a nation, to see the challenges that you have around me as a stepping stone to a better Nigeria, to a better nation. And it could be, you know, a better Africa, wherever it is that you are called to serve. The second one is for us to see power in possibilities. I think that one of the things that the average Nigerian needs to work on is our mindset. We have a flawed mindset about the country. When we think of the country, we are mostly focused on everything that is not working. And I'm not trying to trivialize the problems or the challenges that we have as a country. No, I work in the justice system. I work in a space where we're dealing with security issues, and I know how bad things can be. But I've also traveled to other parts of the world, and I know that we all have our peculiar issues. And so, this might not be very popular, but I find it very, very painful if I say, I'm going to say a certain phrase that we are often used to. The only thing that comes to our mind is bad things. If I come here and I start, and I say, Nigeria has happened to me, what's the first thing that comes? Once somebody says Nigeria has happened to me, it means it has to be something bad. And I wonder how we got to that point. Because you see an average American wakes up in the morning, says, God bless America. And then you see a Nigerian, I mean, for as long as everybody in the room is here, it means you're living in Nigeria. So how would you wake up to the mindset that if Nigeria happens to you, it has to be bad? When we have different stories of people who have actually arisen from this land and have made a name for themselves. My first trip outside the country was based on my work at Hope Behind Bars Africa. I got a fully funded scholarship to University of Oxford based on my work at Hope Behind Bars Africa. It came from this Nigeria. Multiple fellowships, you know, multiple support from international community based on my work in Nigeria. So it's important as young people that we redefine our mindset. And you know, one of the things that I see when it comes to mindset is the fact that a lot of the bad guys in our society, a lot of the corrupt politicians, they have this possibility mindset that many of us don't have. They have an audacity that makes them know that no matter what, I can become this thing. But we wake up in the morning and we're thinking, oh yes, the Nigerian dream is to talk about Nigeria from outside the country. I have no problem against anybody Japan, but my issue is we need to fix our mindset when it comes to the country. And then finally, I will talk about participation. You know, when you come to meetings like this, it's easy for you to get riled up. It's easy for you to get energized. You want to go out and do something. But then when you step out these doors, you are hit with the fact that you have bills to pay. You are hit with the fact that I'm going to live in a place where there's so much insecurity around me. You are hit with the realities of life. I wish I have something to tell you that is going to make you know that things will get better. But all I can really say is that beyond the energy, beyond the motivation, beyond the words that you hear, it's important for you to participate. And participation is not necessarily going to start your own organization. No. Participation is not necessarily volunteering. Participation actually can happen in obscurity. I do not believe that every one of us have to grow in the public. No. Participation can just be you living here today going to get more knowledge about that problem that you want to solve. It can mean going out of here today and studying somebody in the space you want to work with that is doing absolutely well. I remember taking my time to study at least 50 top organizations in the world before I started my organization. I did not have a mentor in the space when I started. I was one of those people who had severe imposter syndrome when I started. And I can tell you that there is so much that comes from learning. There's so much that comes from building in obscurity. Because when you build in obscurity and you come out, the world will wonder, where did this person come from? But they don't know that you've spent so much time behind the scene, growing, building your roots, taking a lot of strength from behind the scene. And if you go out and you begin to share, your passion with people, you would always have those naysayers that will tell you, there are people that have done it in the past, though. You are not the first, though. I remember when I started, I shared earlier that I started, the major story behind my work is my dad. I remember about 2 or 3 years into my work, my dad called me and said, Funke, I love what you're doing, but hope you know your reward is in heaven. And I remember it felt so much like I had disappointed this man, I had failed this man. I'm beginning to work for prisoners. I didn't have an answer to him then, but I knew that my reward might be in heaven, but I would also be rewarded here on earth. And I think I can boldly say that I have no regrets about the work that I do. So I'm going to leave you guys with these lines. When you go out of here, when you want to own the shift, when you want to take that step, when you want to plunge into the deep, when you want to begin to use the power that you have or the power that you've seen, it's very, very easy for you to feel despair. It's very easy for you to feel like you are not worth it. But I'm going to leave you guys with the words of a poem that I appreciate. The poem is called The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. The last line of the poem. It says that 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and it has made all the difference. I hope that when you go out of here tomorrow, when you go out of here today and you decide to take that step, it will indeed make all the difference. Thank you.
We can do better. I think it's a good place to stand and celebrate greatness. Please, let's rise. With a round of applause still. Thank you very much for the much work that you do. Thank you very much. Funke Adeoye, founder, Hope Behind Bars. Ladies and gentlemen, still in the spirit of storytelling, let me welcome Mr. Rotimi Olawale, the founder, Youth Hub Africa. Please, let's celebrate him as he comes up stage.
All right, thank you very much. I hope I don't fall. Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Just this is not part of our regular programming. I just wanted to take the next 2 minutes to encourage everyone that is here. This platform, their conference, is one that we created in 2017, and this is our 5th edition. The first one was in 2017. I think the next one was in 2019, and then we did the next one in 2021, and then we did a 3-year pause. We did the next one last year, 2024, and then this is the 5th edition. Why do we continue to do the DARE conference? Because we want to create a platform that allows young people to come together, to learn, to interact, to network, but also to see inspiring stories of young people who have created nothing out of the country that everybody says is very difficult. Do we charge you for coming here? Do you think this program costs something? Can you guess in your mind how much this program has costed us today? Just take a guess, take a wild guess. I'm not going to tell you the figure, but it's costing us, knowing the cost of things in Nigeria today, you know that this program is costing us a lot. Do I make money out of this program? Can anybody guess? Do we make money out of this program? No. Actually, as at yesterday, we still have not covered all the expenses for this program. So why do we keep doing it? One of the things that we have heard on our journey, I've been involved in youth movements, in mobilizing young people across Nigeria and across Africa for over 20 years. One of the things that I keep hearing that young people say we don't have platforms, right? So I may choose not to do this program again tomorrow. I will not lose anything. Trust me, I will not lose anything. It costs me way more to organize this program than I gain out of it. But what do I gain? I gain the opportunity to bring young people together, to learn, to network, so that you can see shining examples of youth leaders in Nigeria. And so every year, we have an organizing committee that comes together, and some of them are in the room today. We'll celebrate them tomorrow, who will help us to identify speakers from across Nigeria who can come on stage and speak. We are not looking for motivational speakers. That's not what we are looking for. We're looking for doers, right? People who will come on stage and say things that they have done, not things that I aspire, to refire, and to... We're not looking for those kinds of stories. It doesn't matter how you are doing it. It doesn't matter if you are doing it in your community. It doesn't matter if you are doing it in a one-bedroom, face me and face you. It doesn't matter to us. It doesn't matter if you have never left Nigeria. It doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is that you're a doer, and if you're a doer, we're willing to give you the stage so that you can have an opportunity to talk to young people. What I always encourage people, aside from seeing speakers on stage speak, before they leave, grab them. Huh? I'm not saying physically grab their shirts. Don't tear anybody's shirt here. Eh? Grab them, get their contact, network with them, have an opportunity to visit them, interact with them, reach out to them. Don't harass them on WhatsApp. Don't be the one that will send hello, hi at 1 a.m. and say nothing after that. I just say I should greet you, not that kind of interaction. Learn from them. Sometimes you can volunteer with the work that they are doing. It's very important because many times young people come to this platform and say, I have nowhere to go. I have nowhere to volunteer. I have nothing to do. But the opportunities are here. If you pay attention, the opportunities can be on stage. The opportunity can be people around the room. I've seen a lot of incredible CSO leaders in the room. Some of them are not on stage, but they are here in our midst. So don't just sit and eat and clap and laugh and go home. Network, that's why we are here. It's very important to us that you network, that you talk to each other, that you make friends, that you build a community that will be useful for the work that we do. Finally, before I yield the stage, some of the people who have been on the stage today will still be on stage and will be on stage tomorrow. They have options, so. Funke told you that she has gone to Oxford, right? Master's, Oxford. If you get Oxford University degree, Oxford is one of the best, probably top 20 universities in the world. If you have that, you have option, no? If you have gone to, don't let me mention the name of my university. If you go to a state university in Nigeria or one of those universities, maybe you don't have that much option. But if you've gone to Oxford, you can literally decide to leave Nigeria tomorrow. You have legitimate options all over the world open to you. So when they choose to remain in Nigeria and do work, it's because that work is important to them, right? Samson has options. Actually, I think Samson also Oxford, right? Samson also finished from Oxford, right? They have options. So if they choose to remain in Nigeria, it's not because they cannot japa anytime, right? They have options. If you have a degree from Oxford, if you land in Madrid today, you reach out to Oxford alumni, probably in 30 days, you get a job. Not a job as a cleaner or washing dead bodies or serving in a cafe, a legitimate job, right? So they have options. So if they choose to remain in Nigeria and build this country, regardless of how hard, no light, internet is shaky, terrorism, insecurity, it's not out of they don't have option. It's because they have a heart for Nigeria. And we must continue to encourage and work with them. And for you to also see that you can create those options for yourself and remain here to build the Nigeria of our dreams. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Please let's celebrate Ms. Orotimi Olawale. That being said, please look at the person seated next to you, because we have been fired up so much. So ask them, I hope that I will see or hear about your work next year. What did they say? Remember, it's not just about being energized. When you go out of that place, what you do with all the information is very, very important. We'll move on to another pop-up session in a bit. It's another spoken word. But before we do that, media, please help me put the barcode up online. Remember, the Nigerian Youth Future Fund, we're open for registration for the hackathon that will happen tomorrow in this hall. So please do well to scan the barcode and register. The program continues tomorrow, and that is where you get to pitch your idea. So when we go on perhaps the lunch break, you can also visit the booth and get to register there as well. Please, at this point, help me make welcome the beautiful Catherine Clement for the next pop-up session. She'll be doing spoken word. Please let's celebrate her as she walks up the stage. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Tell your neighbor, I dare you to dare. Okay, we don't sound like the numbers we're looking. Tell your neighbor, I dare you to dare. So I'm going to be doing a spoken word. From me to you, from a young Nigerian to a young Nigerian, or to young Nigerians who are daring to face the system. While growing up, I was told that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. Maybe this is true, but obviously for our parents who way before they were born began to trek. Because in my days, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with your transport. And this is because the road to success isn't tea and bread, it is egg. To get to your destination, you must break the yoke. Maybe I was not the only one who was tagged leader of tomorrow. Because it's over 20 years now, and this tomorrow seems to be like that light at the end of the tunnel. We don't ever see them. And to make matters worse, my bright future is now threatened by the economic productivity of today. So today, I present this spoken word piece as a piece of advice from a leader of tomorrow to leaders of tomorrow. Because, dear leader, you are strong, you are resilient, you are consistent, and believe me, if your effort into becoming is being weighed, it will be measured in tons. Because over the years, you've invested in tons of knowledge, ideas, and skills. Did I tell you that you are a fighter? One who is greater than Muhammad Ali. It is how you daily throw punches at excuses for me. Do you know you are legend? You are not Ben Carson, yet you have gifted hands. One might mistake you from Pape because you have a track record of achieving your goals. Do you know that you are gold? Finest. It is how you pass through the fire and fire passes through you, yet you are not consumed. Normally, people are scared of the storm. But when it's your turn, you ask for music so that you can dance in it. My leaders, you are strong. And believe me, you need not to fake it till you make it, because you were made it. Made to be everything you think and more. You think Superman is strong. But believe me, Superman will bow to you when he sees you. Because he knows that real superpower is your ability to keep rising even in a country where its economy keeps dropping. You think Superman is strong. But believe me, Superman will bow to you when he sees you. Because he knows that real superpower is your ability to keep rising even in a country where its economy keeps dropping. The Zuma Rock will pay to have your kind of strength. And the Infeltor will compare itself to a dwarf because your tenacity is so high. But did I also tell you? Did I tell you that you have just started? And if this is your journey of 1,000 miles, then you are yet to catch a bus. And if you think that all that you know is all that there is, then you must sit down and think twice. Because in this journey of 1,000 miles, you must be willing to pay the price. Going against all odds for those who can't try but wants to make a difference. Because you see, this world you live in, sacrifices must be made. You must ask to receive. You must knock for doors to open. You must fight to win. So today I dare you to stand out. To keep out of the resolutions, because you are the revolution. To show up strong and stand up like the rock of the Zuma. To stand up tall because the Infeltor has nothing on you. It has never been a crime for you to be you. For you to stay true. For you to burn down the old and step into the new. So I dare you. I dare you to lift your heads up high and let no man talk you down. Because you carry within you currents. Currents stronger than that of Candida. So I dare you. I dare you to be the revolution you speak of, the resolution you stick. I dare you to stand out, because these are no longer the days of our fathers, but the days for people who dare to dare the system. So I urge you to dare to stand out.
Please, let's celebrate Catherine Clement. That is a charge. That is honestly. Still in the spirit of charge, we're going to go for our fourth pop-up session now. And we're going to be looking at creativity as a currency. I think that theme is very instrumental, and I'm really looking forward to glean from it. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me to make welcome Clinton Naji. Let's celebrate him as he makes his way up. Do you want to use the podium? Okay. Or perhaps we could help him move it up. Can I get help? We want to move it up. You're welcome.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I can hear young people here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here. And firstly, I'd love to thank the organizers for this platform. Thank you so much. I know it's an incredible job. I know exactly what this is, and it's not easy. Thank you so much, sir, for the privilege to be here. And also to Catherine, that was a very beautiful one. At some point, I forgot my lines because I was like, she's doing such a great job. Thank you so much. And to everyone who is here seated today, thank you for being here. It's going to be a great time. Talk to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I dare you to be different. What did they say? Say it again. Say, I dare you to be different. Good, because that's exactly what my message is centered around. So my name is Clinton Naji. I am a menswear designer. Clearly, you can tell that from my very loud pants. And I'm also the founder of Speak Africa, an initiative for young adults pushing for quality education here in Nigeria and across Africa. So my pop-up message today is titled The Currency of Creativity. I mean, we're talking about a shift era whereby so many amazing things are happening, and I really want every one of us to be part of that shift. But shifting doesn't happen in a vacuum. Yes, shifting doesn't happen in a vacuum, and not every one of us will run into politics. Not every one of us might really, you know what I mean? So I'm speaking from the standpoint of creativity, because everyone seated here is a creative. Whether you're a 9-to-5er or, you know, an entrepreneur with a side hustle, you are a creative. And creativity is not just limited to works and, you know, different departments. It is part of what you do every day. Yes. So the currency of creativity today simply charges every creative here, regardless of your line of work, on what makes you different. First of all, I'll start by defining what I title creativity. Creativity simply, for me, is unique expression in excellence, because every one of us, we are born creative. Now, I'm going to paint a few stories for you. Take from me, myself. I got into a prestigious Christian private university. Yes, where we're paying so much for tuition. And we're told to always dress corporate. And I told myself, these people will not make me look like, no offense to Jehovah's Witness, but I told myself I was going to be stylish with my own outfit. And you know what it feels like to be in a Christian university where you're paying so much and almost everything is expensive. And you have pretty much or lead you to, you know, look fly or look dashing as you pretty much. So every semester at the time, I didn't even know what I was doing. I just told myself that beyond coming out with good grades, at least I'll try as much as possible to look good. But I didn't have plenty clothes. So every semester, I didn't even know it was called upcycling at the time. I might take out the colors first semester, you know, try to make it look different. And people notice all of that. For me, I was just trying to survive. Genuinely, I was just basically trying to survive. And year after year, they'll always nominate you for, all of these departmental awards, whereby they give you best dress and all of that. It was good, it was great, but I never even knew it was leading me somewhere. Because if you study in Nigeria and, you know what I mean, and you're really ambitious and you tell yourself, okay, after maybe the 4 years course, I'm going to be doing something very different, life had its own unique plan for me. So my message today is for anyone who is seated here that has doubted their creativity. One thing I will always tell you in the line of creativity is that always be flexible. Like I said, creativity is simply unique excellence in expression. But your expression has to be limitless. So yes, back to my story, leaving school thinking, oh my God, I'm going to work in corporate Nigeria and all of that. It was a beautiful dream. Am I living it? I'm living my own version. But everyone is a creative. So the currency of creativity is so unique and dear to me because I believe that we are not all supposed to follow the same path, and that is fine. Everyone claims to be a creative, which is okay, but you need to define what creativity is for you. There are different cycles. I tell people the currency of creativity has a cycle. First, there is clarity, which comes to authenticity. It is already, I'm not going to speak negative, but it's already hard and difficult surviving as a young Nigerian here, in this part of the world. And imagine you not liking yourself. So it's like you don't like yourself, first of all, and you're stepping into the marketplace. It's already double work for you. Because nothing happens from a place where there's no love for yourself. Some people may claim to like themselves, but the question is, to what extent do you really like yourself? You don't like yourself enough to make moves? We always want something to be done, but no one wants to do the work. Everyone, if you ask everyone right now in this room, what have you done? Everyone can actually justify and say, I have done this for myself, I have done that for myself. But if you compare the future you, and now the future you is not when you're 40 or 50. It is you of tomorrow. I'm talking about literally tomorrow. What are you doing about that person? What are you really doing different? So that's exactly why I sent out my message around. It's creativity. Stepping out of school, coming to Abuja, serving and all of that. And I realized that every one of us are custodians of our destiny. Whether or not you like it, the story is up to you to make. Because, every one of us, we are both 18 here. And I believe if I ask you personally, your life goals, some of us are on that path, yes. It is shaky, it looks uncertain. Some of us even want to run away. But some of us are like, I'm going to stick it down because running away nowadays is even very expensive. And the world is shutting their door against Nigerians, and I do not know why. Because this is home. If you do not fix it, I don't know what you're praying for. If you're a believer here, you know what they say, faith without work is dead. So that is not just a scripture. You need to personalize this into your everyday life. I know they will say motivation, inspiration. I'm not here to motivate you. I just want to remind you of the excellence that you carry. Because nobody has the kind of things you see. I'm speaking from creative because creative sometimes we can get lost in that our vacuum of la la land. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But the reality of things facing you doesn't look like what is on your vision board. So this is a call to everyone who is here to think beyond your vision board and start getting real things, connect and collaborate. But the truth is, if you are not, in alignment with who you are as a person, I don't know what you are selling. Because there are days in business where sales will go low. It's up to you to ask yourself why you started. And here's the thing where we always miss it. We believe that creativity, am I communicating with anyone here? Because the crowd seems really quiet, and I'm like, actually, neighbor, are you still hearing? Great. Okay, thank you. That's the energy I want. Thank you. So, creativity, like I said, doesn't happen in a vacuum. You need to, I tell people, you are not just created to function as a piece of creation. No, you are created to create. And creativity is all about creating the life that you want. I'm talking about from fitness to what you feed yourself and to the output. So the currency of creativity first has a cycle. There's the first, it talks about clarity. Everybody talks about know yourself, know who you are. But the question is, how deep do you really know yourself? Because situations will test you. There are days you want to sell. You have the willpower. The Lord has blessed you to do great things. But then again, your surroundings and environment is not in alignment with that vision. What do you do at that time? We can go on and talk about different things, but the question is, what are you doing differently? Because if you do not love yourself, whatever you are selling, because once you get a no, it's like, I've tried my best and I'm moving on. No, you have to keep knocking. I tell people, imagine if you're going to live up to, now the mortality rate has reduced. So let's say if you're going to live up to like 75 and you're 28, 29, 20, 25, 19, that's like 19 chapters so far so good. That's 28 chapters so far so good. Once you understand who you are and you're in alignment with your message, and when I mean message is like, even if you are an artisan, you are a 9-to-5er, you need to love what you do because there are days whereby situations will test you. What makes you different is the input. I'm a fashion designer, I tell people, but I don't put that as the umbrella of who I am. Like I said, creativity is simply unique excellence in expression, and our expressions are limitless. But then again, you need to be careful because creativity needs to be commodified. The Lord said he will bless the works of your hand, but the question is, what are you commercializing? Or that which you've already started, what are you tweaking? Because every day you're on Instagram, there are different business popping up. And the question is, how do I stay different? Or how do I, move to the next? Back to my story. So when I kicked up my first, my clothing brand at some point, to be really honest, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I had passion and great sketches, but I realized the business world was very different. Thanks to COVID gave me a wake-up call. Chige. So I started working, creatively and smart. But my point is, what makes you different is different from what makes the next person different. Because uniqueness starts from who you are as a person. I tell people, there's a workshop I always organize, which is communicate what you carry. Yes, it's more than just sales. It's getting realignment with who you are as a person first, before the product. Because, I will tell people, if you do not love yourself enough, there will always be a constant, comparison. Trust me, social media is not even making it any easy. What I do sometimes to myself, I love the good life, yes. Do I want to drive events? Yes. Yeah, although it's hard to maintain, but I like it. But I create my own environment. So I want you to create your own environment in this ecosystem of dysfunctionality. Because, like I said, the world will test you. And you haven't even scratched the surface yet. Even if you're 35 or 40, there's more to be done. So the cycle of creativity, first of all, starts from self-realignment. You need to understand who you are. Because we all grew up in a world whereby we're told to do this, school told us to do that, but the question is, you step out of school and it's a different ballgame. NYSC, first of all, humbles you. Then the hustle and tussle of life would still humble you. So my point is, how prepared are you? And preparation is not a one-time thing. You always go back and retweak what's on your vision board because life is ever dynamic. So you need to be fluid as you move with life. Am I speaking here? Can you hear me? So the cycle of creativity simply means there's alignment. So I'm just going to list it out for you right now. First things first. There's creativity. There's clarity. There's after clarity, now that talks about your kind of content you put out because this is the creative economy. Everyone is online. And I tell people, more than ever, this is the time to solidify yourself. Yes, more than ever. I know it might look hard, it might look difficult, but my point is, how bad do you want it? Sometimes I sit down and ask myself, with my family members, like, are you okay? Why are you still here? to be very honest, sometimes I ask myself, picture. You need to get realigned with picture. You need to get realigned with your head, heart, and hand. Are you still with me? Good. So I tell people all the time, you need to use what you have. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Your message and everything that's happened to you is all part of the picture. Mind you, this is not motivation. This is not inspiration. It's just me daring you to be different, because we can sit here today, connect, take all of the selfies, vibe and all of that. And what happens afterwards? You wait for the next seminar to jump up. No. So much has been invested in this platform. And I feel like if we have 2 months to the end of the year, not to put pressure on you, but the question is, what are you doing differently? Because before you start doing January next year, I'm about to do this, you need to start from now. People are wrapping up, but this is where you need to, get dogged. So, like I say, use what you have. Your uniqueness is your power. Not everyone has to be the same. I know this sounds very cliche and very basic, but I'm saying this from a personal standpoint. We are never, ever going to have everything complete. You will not have all of the gadgets. You will not have all of the fancy stuff. But if you are really sincere with yourself, if you look within, there's always something that you can always leverage. So I tell people, look clearly, audit your space, and know exactly what you want. Sometimes the fastest way to invite the future you is to look at yourself right now, health-wise, fitness-wise. What it is that you're doing right now, is it alignment with the same person of when you were 45 or 50? Sometimes you need to step back. Tell someone, step back, to know exactly where you're headed. So the currency of creativity, first, like I said, it has there's clarity, which talks about self-realignment, and now there's content. Now, I'm speaking so much about content. I'm not talking about social media. I'm talking about the content that you give out as people. You want to sell to someone, or you are selling something, and obviously maybe they don't buy. The conversation changes. See, nowadays people buy into you as a person, the quality of what you bring. I tell you, the same Instagram that all of us are doing sponsored ad and running all of that, I'm always there in the DMs, aggressively selling myself, shamelessly. I tell people, what worked for person A might not work for you, but you have to keep tweaking and modifying. Everyone might want to paint a victim story of, oh, life hasn't really been fair to me. I lost my mom, I lost my dad, I was expecting this job, my visa got denied. You are alive, and that is hope. The stars will never be aligned for everything to be perfect. But all you have to simply do is use what you have to your advantage. Now, when I talk about content, what do you feed yourself? Because you are your greatest workshop. What have you read this year? Because what inspires confidence is competence. You are as good as what you knew. Or what you know. Because what you knew before is already outdated. So the question is, what are you updating yourself with? The world is evolving. I believe everyone has ChatGPT on their phones. And let me tell you the truth, ChatGPT is not to make you lazy. It just amplifies your intelligence. That's exactly what it does. That's if you're already, I believe you're all intelligent, yeah? Good. So what it does is that you have everything at your disposal right now to make the most out of what you want. Again, it is not perfect. It is not all that, but you have to keep going. Now, there's something I really want you to tell yourself right now. It's a pledge that I wrote down. I want you to say it after me, and don't just repeat the words because it is ordinary. I want you to say the words intentionally. I am more than my circumstance. I am unique. My authenticity is my strength. I would seek clarity in purpose, and I would guide it. And also, it will guide me. So, I'm going to wrap up real quick because I believe I have limited time. Don't worry, I'm almost done. Trust me. The currency of creativity, like I tell you, is not only for those that have businesses. It's not only for those that are doing 9 to 5. You, where you are right now, you are creative. Use what you have. Leverage your friends. Not all of us will have all of the fancy cars. Not all of us will have all of the fancy gadgets. But you have fancy friends. You do not have money to do some kind of things, but you have friends. See, there's the only excuses that exist is the one you tell yourself. Genuinely, is the one you tell yourself. Life, like the great will always say, it is not what we get that matter, but rather what we have contributed. And now this contribution is not just to your friendship group or to your life, but to your close circle. Iron sharpeneth iron. This is the time whereby we need to get serious and dogged. They said, dare to be different, dare to do something different. Because the truth is, you're not going to be this young forever. It is not pressure to like, oh, I need to get my life together. No. It's just a realignment to wake you up to say, I will not be 28 forever. I will not be 30 forever. Life is evolving. The world is evolving. But the question is, are you really evolving? So your creativity, like I said, there's clarity first, there's content also, like what you feed yourself and what you put out. And also there's consistency. Consistency is so hard. I'm not the most consistent person, but talking about it out loud simply means, okay, yes, I can be consistent. Have an accountability partner. Have people that you know, because I tell people, it's not a matter of just people you ask, guy, I need this or I need that. I'm about to do this stuff. You don't need to tell anyone, just need one person. What difference would this year, Dare Africa change? Like, what would it look like in the next 12 months? I tell people the best way to appreciate life when you're clocking a new chapter is the very first day they tell you happy birthday to you. From that very month, count your next 30 days. What are the 4 things I'm doing on a personal and professional level? If you can do that twice every month, you look back at the next 12 months and you're like, oh, wow. You're not pressured because what? You are living in alignment and you are at peace with yourself. Am I speaking here? Am I communicating? I hope I didn't offend anybody. Great. So, like I said, consistency, and consistency over time builds competence. The more you know, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the more confident you are. I'm standing before you today. I mean, I really wasn't the smartest person, But my point is, I kept on doing it. I kept on tweaking. It might not always be perfect. But once you're at peace with yourself, once you told yourself that, okay, this is what I want to do, I'm going to put in, sometimes you need to lock in. The universe will always answer a desperate heart and a heart that who's willing to keep moving. My time is really limited, but after you've gotten consistent, no one gets perfect at consistency. Let's just be true with ourselves. But the more you keep doing it, you flex your consistent muscle. And lastly, community. Build healthy people around what you do. This message can be posted around maybe your social media and the content you put out, but cultivate your group. Have friends that can pray with you. I don't know if you're a believer, but I'll just tell you for true. Like, whatever it is you believe in, lock in on that. There's so much difference you can make if you lock in and just tell yourself, I would not be this small. Like, this is the least I'd ever be. And lastly, all of these things leads to sales, leads to cash flow, leads to referral. Like I tell people, it is not what you do not have that limits you. It is what you have but do not know how to milk. It's a pop-up session. It's not a panel session. It's not church. And I think I have done my part. But again, clarity, content, consistency, community will drive sales. And that's pretty much all I can simply say today. But thank you. If there's nothing you got out of it today, just tell yourself that I need to get realigned with who I am before the world had its own hinge on you, because only you can change your life. No one's coming to save you.
Thank you.
I learned that message late.
Much.
Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Please help me celebrate Clinton Naji for that pop-up session. Creativity indeed is currency. Thank you very much. We celebrate that. As you can see, lovely pants, by the way. All right, so you might want to look him up and follow him up to see men in the house. You might want to step up and try something new with your fashion. Please celebrate yourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an amazing ride from when we started, and now we are here. This is the moment where a good number of us have been waiting for. Can you guess? Who said what? That's how you know the ones amongst us. Well, good thing she said it. Good announcement. We can smile. It's time for the lunch break. I thought someone would be excited. Don't worry. We are here together. We know ourselves. So, yeah, we'll take a 30-minute lunch break. Everybody say 30 minutes. Can I hear you say 30 minutes? Put your hand on your chest. Say, I will take 30 minutes lunch break. If I go beyond 30 minutes, declare what I should do to you. All right, please, let's go ahead to have our 30 minutes lunch break. Please, let's keep to time. Remember, we are changing the narrative, right? We're keeping to time. So I expect everyone back in the hall 30 minutes from now. Please do what you need to do. If you want to go register for the hackathon happening tomorrow, remember, there is money on it, right? So you want to get creative. Also, if you want to try the virtual reality, please feel free. But in all that you do, I will take. Thank you very much. Don't forget, use your social media. Make sure you're taking pictures. Tweet the conversations as it's happening. Don't forget the hashtags. Make sure that you are sharing, and you're sharing on message. Please, if you have attended the DARE conference for at least 3 editions, please come over to the comms table to my right, your own left probably, and come and document with them. They would like to have an interview with you. It's going to be an interactive one. You get to feature in YouTube Africa's newsletters and posts. So please, you want to do that.